Okay. Hopefully, everyone can hear us okay and can see the slides. Okay. Today we're covering off increase your sales and profits using IRP Trader. This is the third session in our weekly installment of the IRP webinars. The first one was all around the data for Q1 and what we were seeing, the key trends. Last week was around the most recent product release. And today we're going to tie it all together and give you solutions and actions that you can take away to increase your sales and profits. The session today is led by myself, David, and Richard, head of the customer success team at IRP. Most of you will be very familiar with us. We work very closely with the agencies, the account managers, and directly with yourselves as well. The first few slides is always important to reset and align around the agenda. And IRP ethos is all around merchant first. It's about giving you visibility, control behind your profit, and let you understand what's working and what isn't. And IRP has the power to transform your outcomes. Today we're going to be covering off a number of key areas, but fundamentally we'll be focused on utilizing IRP Trader, analyzing the data and where to start, understanding where your customers are coming from, breaking down channel performance, e-commerce business health, and then looking at products that are selling well, but also products that aren't selling well, and how do you get your customers to buy them. And then the last point is around controlling your costs on IRP. You understand where your money is being spent, where it's profitable, and what products to continue to push versus ones that you need to kind of scale back on.
So just like the last couple of weeks there, we have the math behind e-commerce for anyone who hasn't actually sat in the webinar sessions, just to recap there. So we always look at traffic, conversion rate, and average order value, which makes up your sales there. We have a couple of examples, the same examples that were used last week there, just referring in particular to conversion rate. So 0.2% increase in conversion there has actually resulted in this merchant getting an additional 80,000 there in sales. So always important that we're constantly referring back to the sales equation, and the actions that we're taking there on a weekly and monthly basis are trying to actually increase those numbers. And I've actually just added in an additional slide here. So if we're looking at the monthly sort of breakdown there of sessions, conversion rate, and AOV, this is something we suggest, account managers, e-commerce managers, business owners, really to model your sales over the course of the year. So this particular view, if you look at the bottom of the sales column, is for a business that's going to be doing or projected to do 2 million for the year. So the figures from January through April are real figures essentially, and then May through December is basically modeling out what the sessions conversion and average order value need to be in the remaining months of the year there, just to try and obtain that 2 million figure. So definitely a worthwhile exercise that everybody on the call there can, if you haven't done this already, I would get something in place there to have a look at these figures. And then finally there, just the math behind the profits. So I've included a link to the IRP definitions. The e-commerce gross profits, one that probably doesn't crop up whenever you're speaking with your accountant there, but essentially your gross profit minus your traffic spend there. But really your sales versus or minus your cost of goods there is your gross profit, and that should be front and central for everything that you do within the business.
And then analyze the data and where to start. E-commerce managers, e-commerce staff, business owners, everyone's very busy day to day. And this is where we try and bring the right data to you at your fingertips on Trader, and tying it back to the MAS. You have 3 levers in e-commerce that you can control. It's your sessions, your conversion rate, and your AOV. And then off the back of that, IRP is automatically bringing together your sales, your margin, your gross profit, your traffic cost, and then your e-commerce gross profit. And this is just for a particular data set in the last 30 days. But from this screen, this is exactly what you see when you log into Trader. You have your mission control, you have your graph of where your customers are coming from. The darker the blue, the more sales in that country. But it's a bit, there's lots of customers out there, and there's big opportunities if you can tap into those markets. But it's all about, when you start your day, where do you start, and how do you find more customers who are going to bring you more profit, but you're also going to deliver a great experience to those customers who repeat buy from you time and time again. And understanding where your customers coming from. So in mission control, you can very quickly tab into the key countries, and this grid will literally let you see very quickly where your customers are shopping from, whether that's UK, Ireland, US, Canada, or Australia. Again, tying back to the equation, sessions times conversion rate times AOV. So for this specific data set, you can see that 79% of sales are coming from the UK, 16% from Ireland, and then 1% from the US. So predominantly this merchant sales in the UK and Ireland. And you may have reasons to do similar, or you may be trying to expand globally. But the first thing you'll see is like the average order value between UK and Ireland is very similar. Conversion rate slightly lower in Ireland, so there's an improvement there on the conversion element. But the major difference between what's impacting the sales in Ireland versus UK really is the traffic. And that is one of the biggest levers that you have at play. And later on in the session, we'll tie that back to your traffic cost. And it is about finding the right customers and bringing them to the site to convert.
So then just further on from that, and understanding your product brand and category performance, within your mission control there, you do have a product summary, and you can adjust the time frames within product summary there just to see the trend around the products, the brands, and the categories that are selling. One thing that most merchants probably will see is that whenever new products are introduced there, they wouldn't be featuring heavily in the top sort of 5 or 10 sellers there. So that's a conversation to be had with your account manager, with your service providers there, and also just using sales analysis to make sure that you're getting views in those products, those brands, those categories, and really trying to push them in the best way possible. And you can see margin reporting as well within your sales analysis, just on those particular brands and categories and products. And obviously the most profitable products are the highest margin ranked products are the best for pushing on your site there, just to try and increase that gross profit as much as possible. If we move on there, we're just looking at top brands. So you'll see here that in this example, 60% of sales comes from the top 5 brands here listed. So always key to keep an eye on that, and similarly there for your categories as well. Obviously for this particular merchant, that 70% of sales has came from the top 5 categories listed there. So if there are categories that you've again newly stocked or brands that you'd like to really try and push on with, definitely then speak to your account manager and your service provider there around the methods and the channels there that you can really try and push these products and these brands and categories with.
And on those, there only is, say, five categories and 5 brands was bringing in 60 to 70% of this business's sales. It's always important that you're looking at these pages on the front end. Experience it as if you're a customer, whether that's a mobile, desktop, and ask yourself, would you shop from your site? You'll do an end-to-end analysis, and you'll see things that could be improved, whether that's USP messaging, contact details, about us pages. The really reassurance piece of your website, every week, every month, along with your account manager, you should be improving that and continually optimizing, and that will go a long way to improving your conversion rate. The channel analysis then, as I sort of touched on a couple of slides ago, your CPA is the biggest variable to your business and really does determine if you're profitable or not. Most e-commerce businesses will be working between an 8 and 12% net profit. And if you have the difference between 7% and 14% CPA, it could be the difference between loss making and profit making. But you're going to be in 4 or 5 channels. You're going to have email marketing. Most likely you're going to run that in-house. You'll have a service provider providing Google PPC. You may have a service provider providing affiliate channel, and you'll have a service provider running Bing and Yahoo. It's super important that they're all aligned with the account manager and yourself as a business owner or e-commerce manager to ensure that they're working within your parameters. They understand your business as much as possible, and they are driving quality traffic to your site. And the businesses that we see with the lowest CPA and then the higher net profits off the back of that have a very, very strong customer base that they've maybe acquired the customer through PPC. They've got them to sign up to the mailing list, and that repeat purchase rate every month, every couple of months, is what really sets an e-commerce business apart. And it is important you do dig into, look at even emails that you sign up for yourself. What do you see that works well and what doesn't? Again, reach out to your account manager and they'll have lots of strategies and advice. But certainly the channels working in alignment are the biggest differentiator between a successful and a profitable e-commerce business.
So next slide then, we're just looking at the e-commerce business health. So this can be accessed again through mission control and the positions tab. And just in relation to all the graphs that are shown on the screen here, I've just been through them all and sort of, I think it's one for everyone really to ask themselves a question around performance here for each of the graphs. So top left here, we have sessions. And in this instance, I'd be asking myself, why are my sessions down versus last year? Does this correlate with my costs? Have I removed or dialed down my efforts in certain traffic channels? Then if we move on to conversion, you can see conversion here is actually on the flip. It's actually up on last year. And I'd be asking myself, have I been specifically working on conversion related actions? And is this why my conversion rate is noticeably trending upwards, or trying to dig into what actions have actually been carried out there to have that positive impact on conversion? AOV has remained relatively stable here, but a few things that you could be looking at would be introducing pay by installments in multiple different countries. You could be using IRP kits there to bundle high and low average order products, just to bring the overall value of the order up. And you could be using IRP promotions to encourage cross and upselling through the basket. In terms of your gross profit margin, have I analyze my online selling trends for the previous year and identify those products that deliver higher gross profit margin? Are they forming the majority of my efforts in marketing and driving traffic to the products? And are these products getting the highest visibility on the home pages and listings pages? In terms of repeat customers, and one that probably most of us don't really look at, would be setting a benchmark or a target for repeat customer number for the year. What most business owners, e-commerce managers probably don't realize is that your repeat customers drive the majority of the revenue on your site. So 20 to 30% repeat customers typically drive 60% plus of your revenue. So even increasing in this example here, we've got 60%, probably 63% to 65% from January through to April. If we were to increase that to 70%, what would that look like in terms of just driving revenue? And then finally, in terms of returns, have I used IRP sales analysis and new power filter functionality to identify the products that are driving high return rates? Could damages be an issue with these specific products, and do I need to review my packaging? Are there not sufficient size and fit guides included in those clothing and footwear products? And are my marketing efforts and money being spent foolishly on trying to drive traffic to products that have historically higher return rates? So you can work with your service provider and your account managers just in trying to drive traffic to relevant product pages that aren't going to result in higher returns.
The next slide then is all about finding products that are selling and how to sell more. So in this section you've jumped into sales analysis, and this is looking at the full data set, and you have this at the model level, category level, and brand, and even down to stock. But from this view, you can very, very quickly see your highest viewed products, your highest selling products, and you can then order them by highest viewed and highest sales. Obviously, you don't have unlimited stock. You may only have a few stock in each sizes, or you have a high stock and high sell through. But it's important to look at your product conversion rate. That would kind of be the first place to start, especially if the product's selling well and you're wondering, well, how can I sell more? If it has a below average product conversion rate, then it's important to review the product page, whether that's imagery, description, because your highest selling product should have as well as a high average product conversion rate. If you have plenty of stock then and you've got your product conversion rate nailed, the next area to focus on is traffic. So again, working with your service providers, working with your in-house marketing teams, making sure that those products are listed and merchandised well across the site, across your marketing channels. Your ad copy, your subject lines are as good as they can be to make your customers resonate and convert off the back of that. The next slide then is using same still in sales analysis, but you're using the active status. And by adding the active status, that will narrow down to products that you have active on your site today that you can sell. And while we've moved to this slide, we have filtered by top viewed, and that kind of takes them down to a low. Like, Azure have a lot of reviews, they actually have quite a relatively low product conversion rate. So you need to ask yourself, although sales of this product are going well, what's stopping somebody buying? Whether that's your USP messaging, your description, or down to your images. And it's important to always test and try and improve on that. If you're just taking your images directly from a supplier, what sets you apart from another retailer selling the exact same product? You have to give customers a really good reason why they should trust you and why they should buy from you. And some of the sort of key points and sort of solutions to how to sell more products that are selling well is you want to get the customers to that page. So if it has low views, you need to get more people there. And as I touched base on, you can improve your imagery, you can improve your product descriptions, promote your product in your key marketing channels, increase the CPA in those channels, and increase product level bidding, merchandising that product across the site. If you go into a retail store, obviously you can smell, you can see, slightly different in e-commerce, but a lot of those key things that you would do in a retail setting also apply online. And it's kind of, yes, it's maybe more transactional online, but you can enhance and improve that shopping experience. So look at your user experience across mobile and desktop, and it is about finessing and constantly improving. You can also create your best-selling products along with content using the IRP blog.
And just on the flip side then, of products that are selling well, and finding products that aren't selling, and how we can get customers to buy more of those products. And so really there are two scenarios here. Products that are attracting lots of views that aren't selling, products that are attracting little to no views and aren't selling. So for scenario one, first of all, we would sort by views here and highlight those products that have lots of views and high stock. So then I would filter by country and scroll to the bottom of sales analysis and export this view. At the same time, you could log into your Google Search Console and get an idea of the search terms that are actually driving traffic to the site. So does this correlate with the views that we're seeing within sales analysis? You could also then set your browser country within Google to what matches where your products are actually being viewed. You can see at the bottom of this screen, I've actually dropped the link in here for your Google browsing preferences there. So at the very bottom of that screen, there is a region setting that some people might not be aware of, and chances are that it is set to United Kingdom or Ireland. Have a play around with that and change your browser settings to United States or Canada or any of the secondary markets there, and have a search for some of your countries and see if that correlates with what's been displayed here within sales analysis. Off the back of that, then I just have a look first of all at your pricing, and then we'd look at the shipping costs there as well. What are other merchants charging, you know, for shipment and combined pricing there on products, and does the most highly viewed products correlate with the most frequent drop baskets that you're seeing within Marketing Cloud? Has the product been assigned to the correct brand and category? And is the content on the product page sufficient? I would also, again, compare to other sites selling similar products. Do they include things like videos, additional product information, fit guides, as well as size guides that just help to give the visitor a better experience on the site? The second scenario then relates to products that are attracting little to no views that aren't selling. So firstly, I would sort on the view column from low to high. So this will really highlight the products that aren't getting any views whatsoever. I would then apply a secondary sort for the stock column from high to low. So products aren't getting any views, but you've got lots and lots of stock. So this view more often than not highlights new product lines. Firstly, I would check if the product has been set up correctly, applying a brand. And one thing that few of our merchants there would miss out on would be the application of barcodes. And so barcodes and brands are critical there when selling on Google. There is a setting within IRP if no barcode exists, and that you can mark that against the product, and then it just means that the product's also included within the feed. I'd also check in with your service provider to ask that new products are being added to campaigns on a regular basis. And could the products that aren't attracting any views be included at the top of listings pages or home pages, scrollers. You could also use the IRP link models where you can manually place products that would be applicable or relevant to other, better selling products on the site. And again, just bundle up and include those products within email campaigns. The next slide here we're looking at is in relation to the Glenday Sieve, and this is really around merchandising and really having a clear idea about the products that are selling, sort of 30 days, 60 or 6 month period, 12-month period. This is a report that all account managers and service providers can get access to through IRP. In the example on the screen, the merchant has 9,845 active SKUs. Now you can't obviously see all the rows here included within the report, but whenever we run the Glenday Sieve, this gives us a cumulative percentage. You'll see it there to the far right of the actual products that are selling. So this merchant in particular had 50% of sales accounted for by 194 SKUs, and these are highlighted in the report in green. And then 50 to 95% of sales were accounted for by 446 SKUs and are highlighted in yellow. And then from 95 to 99%, that was made up by 78 SKUs. And then finally, the last 1% of selling products was made up by 36 SKUs. So those figures don't really mean much, but to simplify it, just over 7% of SKUs that this merchant has contributed to 100% of the products that they sell. So as an exercise or as a challenge, whenever we have the Glenday Sieve set up there and we have it color coded, and we could look at moving products that are yellow, blue, or red into green. So as they're contributing more in terms of sales, and also the 93% of products that haven't sold at all in the last 30-day period. We could look at different methods there in terms of what can be done to really try and push and sell those products. And then finally, just to summarize there and finding products that aren't selling and how we can get customers to buy them. First of all, we need to look at traffic and getting customers to the page. So seeing if those items or those products actually have views in the first place. Next, then we can look at the position of these products in the relevant pages on site. Can you utilize or highlight these products on home pages, on listings pages, and more prominently on the products pages using link models? We can then look at bundling and using IRP kits. We can also remarket the product and give it new imagery, new product descriptions, have a look at pricing there if it can be changed. Look at IRP promotions there and see if we can make the use of, buy one, get one free, or buy X for set amount or something like that. And then finally, as a last resort, if products aren't selling there, we can look at just applying price adjustments. Now, I would take into account probably brand or category and margin there, and don't just be applying a crazy discount from the start. Have a look at it, and if you can manage to obtain, a couple of % there in terms of gross profit margin, start at that point, and then incrementally after a week or two, if products still aren't selling, then move them down, by 1 or 2%. But that's really what we recommend in trying to get some of the non-view products shifting there for you.
The last piece today is around controlling your costs using IRP Trader. So as we mentioned a few times during the session, the digital marketing costs and the spend is the biggest variable, and the more you can control that with profitable, high returning customers, the more successful you're going to be as a business. We've seen a number of merchants this year already reduce or pull some channels. One that a number of merchants have pulled is Facebook. Certainly the ones that have pulled it haven't really noticed any difference in the overall sales channel. But that said, for the right customer and the right audience out there, Facebook can be a good channel if you can get it to work. But it is important to be very mindful of your CPA across each of the channels. In the positions tab, you do have a breakdown of every channel, and then you can see year on year comparison of cost, sales, and CPA. So do be mindful if something's really up on last year or really down. How is that impacting your bottom line? And you need to be looking at these on a minimum weekly and also on a monthly basis when the stats are published and they're up to date. But it is important to have a benchmark to work against, because there will be differences in the data in IRP. It'll be more accurate than potentially what is in your in-market in-channel reporting, as it doesn't impact or doesn't take into account returns, etc. And it's always important that your service provider, your account manager, has a very joined up view of all the channels to ensure that the right products are being pushed at the right time, and the business is moving in one direction. And then a layer down from that, then from the channels, you have again in sales analysis, you have an estimated CPA per product. You also have that on a brands and a categories. So in the background, IRP is calculating this data at a brand category level. So again, factoring in a strategy of how to sell more of your product, you do want to be mindful that you aren't blowing a lot of your budget on one or two products or one or two brands if it potentially has a high return rate, or at the end of the day isn't resulting in a net profit. And you can use that estimated CPA to adjust your bidding strategies in the channel. Again, if you're something that's selling really well or not selling, get it in your emails, get it on your social, and get your customers aware of it. And again, you can rank them by highest eCPA or lowest. So again, if something has a really high eCPA, you want to do analysis of that product, brand, or category across the front end on mobile or desktop. Can you see what's going wrong? Can you see why it's working really well or not? And again, your account manager there to help you delve into that and help analyze and look at that user experience across the site. And again, make sure your service providers are aware of this data. As we move away from cookie tracking, there may become a bigger difference between in-channel reporting and IRP data. And IRP data will pretty much tie back to what you get in your bank account at the end of the day. So it's important to use multiple data sources to get a true picture of what is happening in your business. And then the success story slide, again, it's really just go and have a look at these sites. Some merchants are growing at a very high rate. Some have rolled out their latest functionality in the latest releases, but overall, these are some of our highest growing merchants in Q1 and certainly moving into Q2 in 2023. That's kind of everything that we wanted to cover today. I'm going to just stop the recording, but we do have time for questions if there is any, or you can drop them into the chat and we can answer those off as well.
Hi guys, Chris from Flatway Digital here. How are you? Thank you for